Today we will be exploring the concept of economic demand. Before we begin talking about demand, we have to understand the concept of microeconomics. Microeconomics is a part of economic theory that deals with the behavior and decision making by individual units, such as people and firms. We're looking at a very small segment of the economy at any given time. Before we can begin looking at demand, we also have to review our basic assumptions. We have to assume that all economic actors behave rationally. That is, they make economic decisions using sound reasoning. We also have to assume that they are self-interested. The decisions that they make in order to better their own lives. And we must assume ceteris paribus. This is the idea that when we change one variable, we have to assume that all other things remain equal. When most people think of demand, they think about what people would like to buy. They think about the amount the consumers desire to purchase at various prices. Not necessarily what they will buy, but what they would like to buy. Economic demand is slightly different. In this case, they must not only be willing to buy it, but they also must be willing to and able to pay. Demand is a function of several variables, which you can see below. Demand is illustrated using two variables. The price is found on the y-axis, and the quantity demanded is found on the x-axis. This can be shown in a demand schedule as well. This is a chart or table that shows the various quantities demanded of a particular product at all given prices that might prevail at the market at any given time. Every one of us has a demand schedule in our head for any product that we may buy. We may not think of it this way, but we actually do. Here we have a simple demand schedule for McDoubles at McDonald's. So if we were thinking about a small group of people, we might say that if the price were $1, they would buy 10 McDoubles. If the price went up to 75 cents, they would buy 13 McDoubles. If it went down to 50 cents, they would buy 15, 25 cents, 17, 5 cents, 18, and so forth. Demand schedules can be shown graphically as demand curves. When more than one individual's demand schedule is combined into one demand curve, it is called a market demand curve. The demand curve. On the y-axis, you'll notice that we have price, and on the x-axis, quantity demanded. The yellow line represents our demand curve. So at a price of $1, 10 McDoubles are demanded. When the price falls to 50 cents, that quantity demanded increases to 15. The law of demand states that the quantity demanded varies inversely with price. In simple terms, as price goes up, the quantity demanded of a product goes down. You'll notice that I referred to the graph earlier as a demand curve. However, there really wasn't any curve to that line. In actual point of fact, demand curves do curve. What we'll find is that over time, as price falls, people will consume more of the product, but they'll consume relatively less compared to the fall in the price. This is caused by the concept of marginal utility. Marginal utility is a measure of the extra usefulness or additional satisfaction that you get from consuming or acquiring one more unit of a product. In most cases, marginal utility will be diminishing. That means that as you consume more and more of a product, the amount of additional utility that you receive becomes less and less. You can see this on this graph. The red line here represents total utility. So as we consume more of a product, be it hamburgers, soda, video games, whatever it may be, we'll find that over time we receive more and more total utility. So for the first product that we consume, we receive 20 plus units of utility. The second product, we're just over 40. The third, just under 60. The fourth at 70. The fifth just under 80, and so on. The blue line represents marginal utility. So what we find is that the first product gave us 20 utiles. The second product, just over 20 utiles. Second product gave us 20. The third, under 20. The fourth, just over 10, so on and so forth. And what we'll find is that over time, as we consume a product, we receive less and less satisfaction from it until the point where we actually go negative, and that's the point where total utility turns over and starts to go back down, and marginal utility falls below zero, that we're actually receiving negative satisfaction. An example of this might be the consumption of soda. If you go to the store and you're very, very thirsty, and you buy a soda, the first soda that you drink is great. You love it. It's delicious. It's quenching your thirst. You're very happy. So you go and you buy a second soda. Well, you're still pretty thirsty, so this soda tastes very good. But it's not as good as the first one. You just go and you buy another one because you're still kind of thirsty. So by that third soda, now you're starting to see even less and less utility from the soda. But you've got a couple extra bucks, so you decide to buy a fourth soda. Meanwhile, your marginal utility is diminishing this whole time. And on the fourth soda, you actually start to feel sick. At this point, you've reached negative marginal utility. So drinking the extra soda actually gives you less satisfaction than you would have had you not drank it at all. This concept will actually be why the demand curve curves.